Hey, everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Peeps podcast, season number 2. Woo! Who does number 2 work for?
Spiked that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who does number 2 work for?
For me.
This is true. I can back that up. All right. Well, if you're listening to this, you had enough of a decent time with season 1. We thank you for putting up with us. It's only going to get better from here. We hope, right?
There's only one way but up.
It's only one way but up. Yeah. So if you haven't listened to all 26 episodes from season 1, go back and binge listen and then come back.
It still blows my mind we did 26 episodes.
I don't remember doing 26
Doesn't feel like
episodes.
it.
Let's call those the classics.
The classics?
Classics.
We'll call those the training wheels.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now the wheels are off and we're flying, baby. So we had a whole bunch of topics last year that we talked about and covered and went into depth on. We're going to do a lot more of that this year as well. But we decided for this first episode, we just want to kind of do a year in review of last year and what we're looking forward to this year, heading into 2022. 22. Yes. So, Josh, you have a list of questions there.
I do, but before we get started with the questions,
Before we get to questions, let's go see who's here.
Yep.
Ding dong. Who's here?
Elise is back.
Elisa's here.
I'm here again. Yay. Thank you. I miss you.
So we'll go around the room to my left. We have the lovely
Elisa.
Elisa. Tell us about yourself, Elisa. For our listeners. Just kidding. They know who you are by now.
Maybe. I've been gone for a hot minute.
To your left,
Josh.
Lord Josh.
Jamie?
The lady, Jamie.
I'm Terry and I'm Leo.
She's my wife. And I'm Lord Mike, and I'm also a Leo. And
That
this-
explains
what
a
do we-
lot.
Figure that one out, how we've been married for 21 years and we're both Leos.
There's a lot of fighting. I say I'm sorry a lot, and I don't know why.
It's a lot of cat fights.
Whatever. There's no cats.
They're sparring.
That was an attempt to make a cat noise, just couldn't do it.
Meow. Are those the ones you're looking for?
That's more than
Pretty
noise,
close.
yes.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
So, let's start off. What was the favorite, the place you enjoyed the most investigating? We had a few
So
last year.
list the things the places that we went to last year.
Okay, so we went to Paranormal Potluck at Benson Grist Mill. Did that a couple times. We
Those
did.
were hosted by our good friend Tim Behunin.
Yes.
Yep.
Shout out to Tim. Thanks, buddy.
Yo, Tim.
We did the prison in Montana.
Montana. Deer Lodge, Montana.
And then we did Petite Neat Museum down in Payson.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did Gooding, Idaho. We did the
Idaho
old,
State Tuberculosis.
yes. And then a couple of us, or 3 of us, did the Ritz Theater up in Tooele.
Yep.
And that was with Broken Wings Paranormal.
So take these broken wings.
That's a good song.
It is.
That
a
is
good
Learn
song.
to fly again.
So, Jamie, start us
Sorry.
off.
Skip.
What was the place you enjoyed the most investigating?
Oh, let me think. I'm going to have to go with good old Montana State Prison.
And why?
Well, it just never gets old. It's so massive that even with 12 hours of investigation time, it flies by.
It does.
And you don't cover everything.
No.
It's like it's almost impossible. So even though Josh and I have been there 4 years in a row,
Yep.
I would 100% go back and do it again.
And we have still not investigated every spot in that place.
We have not. Mm-mm.
What about you, Terry?
Same, honestly.
This was your first time.
This was
in a
my first
prison.
time in Montana, and I was nervous as I was to go and investigate a prison. I loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Wait, you were nervous? Because you gave me crap about being nervous.
I wasn't as nervous as you were.
There goes the Leos.
I was scared.
There they go again, guys.
I just thought of being locked into a prison overnight. You know, that there could be
Yeah.
so much negativity there. Hardly any negativity in there.
Oh, I know. I could totally take a nap.
100% just want to go back and just sit in that jail cell and
It was
just
calm.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Fully enjoyed it. Would go back again in a heartbeat.
Like, I felt it was more calm in the jail cells in those areas than it was like where the cafeteria was, and like that was more intense than actual jail cells were.
Yeah, and I mean, we tried doing so many experimentations while we were there, which was really fun for us to do because we hadn't had chances to do those at other investigations throughout the year, like setting up the Boo Bear with the recorder, and then we did the whole dowsing rod session where we each went and found different locations
Oh.
for.
That was my
really
favorite.
fun.
That was my favorite.
You know, and so it was just that kind of investigating that we normally don't get a chance to do. We were able to do there because we had 12 hours there to investigate.
Yeah.
So I really, really enjoyed that investigation this year.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I have to agree, honestly. No,
I'm seeing a theme
Okay.
with the first three answers.
So there's things I liked about all of them. For me, I mean, I always love Benson. Benson is like a home place for me. I've investigated there so much that I know the spirits. In fact, I'm changing my answer. I'm going to Benson.
All right.
And here's why.
Is that your final answer?
That's my final answer.
Do you need to phone a friend?
No,
Okay.
nobody would answer if I called. So here's the reason why. So I love the prison thing because, like you, I was more than you guys. I was scared to death to go down there. Prisons and asylums are the two places that just creep me out because you have people who are just evil, right? So there's just that evil stain there, that
And
energy.
a lot of them.
A lot of it, all focused in one place.
Yeah.
If you've ever visited like a real live action, active prison,
Right.
with people in it, you feel that negativity there. I used to deliver out to the Utah State Prison out here in Draper, and yeah, just going through the gates and driving around the outside of the fence, you had those creeper vibes, right? And dealing with the minimum security inmates that were unloading my truck and stuff, creepy. So yeah, I was scared to death to go to the hospital, to the prison. And honestly, like Terry, I was very surprised at how at ease I felt in that, especially in that big cell block. That was the place that probably made me the most afraid.
1912.
And we're
cell
sitting
block.
out there, and it was just like, this is actually pretty relaxing, just sitting out here.
I so enjoyed being in that cell block.
I don't know that I would want to be anywhere by myself,
I didn't like the fourth floor,
but I don't. But I don't like. I don't investigate by myself anyway.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
We don't encourage folks to do that because stuff always can happen. Okay, but I'm changing my answer to Benson, and this is why. So one of the potlucks that we were out there, we were sitting in the schoolhouse, and apparently, like, all the kids came out. I don't know where they all came from, cemetery next door, wherever they all came from, but there were a whole bunch of kids. Like we were counting on the dowsing rods, and it was like 27 or 28 kids. It was like standing room only for like the spirit kids. I don't. Were you in there
Because
for that?
it's a small room. No, I wasn't. And it's a small room in there.
And
it's not a big class.
and
big
then
school.
and then I don't know. I was in there with Tim, and there was just a few other people. I don't know who else was in there with me.
I wasn't there.
But he's like, "Do you want to give a?" And they started, and I think Tim invited him to, and all of a sudden they started just giving me hugs, like all the little spirit kids like giving hugs, and it was just like I felt like the little Pillsbury Doughboy going hee hee. It was that little feeling of just you could just feel them. They just kept because they loved us being there, and we were having fun with them, and it was just really really high positive energy. It was amazing. I mean, and that's the kind of investigating we like. I mean, it's always exciting when you have scary stuff like Gooding, like at the tuberculosis hospital.
Yeah.
That was intense, scary.
Mm-hmm.
This was intense, just happy and fun.
Warm.
Well, I also think that with our investigations at Benson this year versus years in the past, we did different types of investigating, and you were investigating with different people. You weren't leading a group.
True.
Yeah.
You weren't doing the whole
True.
dance monkey show trying to perform for people.
That's true.
You were actually investigating.
Yeah, but it was just fun. I don't know. Just when you get a hug from a spirit, especially all the little kids, it was just
A cool
like
experience.
chill, and then
Yeah.
and then you would mellow, and then chill, and then mellow, and it's just like being tickled. It was just funny, but we were laughing. I mean, it was happening to Tim. It was a couple people there, but yeah, they were just sweet little ghost kids. So that's my favorite.
Cool. What about you, Lisa?
I'm kind of torn. I really loved Petit Neat, and I really loved the tuberculosis hospital. Because Petit Neat, for me, I grew up in Payson, and I danced at Petit Neat for years and years. So for me, it was like nostalgic going to Petit Neat and being able to go investigate there.
Yeah, you were so excited to
Because
go investigate there.
I knew from when I was a little kid that place was haunted. I knew from when I was a little kid. So I've been wanting to go there for like 30 years.
Did it live up to the hype then?
In a way, yes. I would say more so the second time I went.
yeah,
Because I ended up taking my family over there about a month later or so, or 2 months later. But So I liked Bettini because of that reason. And I mean, it did live up to what I was hoping, but also the tuberculosis, there was just so much happening and personal things that were happening. Like I got scratched because I talked to him and stuff. And anyways, it was just
Growled at?
I got hissed at. Everybody heard that one.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm torn between the two. What about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I love the prison. Not gonna lie, that's always been one of the highlight spots for us to go to because we've been there 4 years, and it's always been different. Every year we've gone there, it's always been just a little bit different, and so it's like, you know, you never know what you're gonna get when you go there. So it's always super enjoyable. But I did like Gooding. I thought Gooding was a lot of fun. Not so much for the investigation part, because like Mike and I kind of investigated together that first night, and it was pretty quiet.
Oh yeah.
It was kind of that, like, just nothing going on.
We had high hopes for some of the toys that we brought, and like
nothing.
nah.
It was just a quiet night. You
See,
know,
for us, it was just so much going on that night. I think we stole all of your ghosts.
I think you did.
You probably did.
But it was like, yeah, it was still neat though. Like just the whole sleeping in the haunted location, and then, you know, just
that was so cool.
Like it was for the most part, it was a great weekend.
I think they all just bring so many different experiences that they're not equal to each other.
Yeah, and each like in their various lengths too, right? If you think about it, like Petitney was only like 4 hours, and it was this quick in,
and it's close to home.
Yeah, it's like it's in. You got to be on top of it because it's in. Get things done. Get out because you only got 4 hours, and it's a very short period of time. You know, where I'm sorry, Gooding we had 48 hours in the building,
whole weekend.
And
you get to sleep there.
Yeah,
which was cool.
And you got to play with the cats.
And we got to play with the cats. But you know, Jamie and I both had that experience when we were in our room where it felt like someone, you know, blew cold air on
Like
our
ice
face.
cold.
Oh, wow.
And I honestly thought there was an air conditioner on at first.
No, we had the heater on.
Yeah, we had the heater on in the room, but it felt like this just it was this cold air right in my face because, you know, I'm pulled up, so like only my eyes and like cheeks are you know, exposed. But it did. I mean, it felt just like that. And
Wasn't that why you chose that room? Is because it was it's the one that had the little boy in it and Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, and I think I think he came forward and
I think he was just playing a joke.
Yeah,
because
like,
mine happened when we first went to bed, and you were out snoring and
and
farting in your sleep, and and then I was a little nervous, and I was turned on my back to you, and I had the covers up.
I'm grateful we didn't have anything crazy happen in our room. Our room was a safe space.
Yeah, so
and
our room was so nice.
We did have the owner's mom in our room. Just kind of stood over in the corner, but I think she was very, very cool. She didn't bother us. She just kind of
watched you,
respected us.
Yeah.
She can watch all she wants. I don't care. I'm a bit of a exhibitionist, but
comes with the territory, right? Comes with our job.
But no, it was a very safe, comforting space. You know, for any, you can be out in the hallway and it feels creepy and it's like, eh.
Well, it's amazing the difference. How the room felt.
Yeah, because
you felt that, right?
She went to go use our bathroom.
She opens the door.
Because here's what happened.
Tell us the story. Story time.
So we're in there. We're having a meeting. We're in this big living room. And it's connected to the kitchen, right? So it's a big space. And we're all in there. We're having a meeting. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I have to go take a crap. So I need to take a minute.
And she put it just like that.
And so I go, their bedroom, Meg and Terry's bedroom was literally just across the hall. And they're like, oh, go ahead and use our bathroom. I'm like, oh, sweet, thanks. So I don't even make it halfway across the hall. And I get hissed at. Like I felt just this overwhelming sense of creepiness, and then I get hissed at and I went, okay, and I turned around and I start walking back in, and then everybody was like, did you just get hissed at? Because I heard it, everybody else heard it, right?
Oh, it was very audible.
Very loud.
Very.
Yeah. And it was right in my ear. And so I'm like, I'm not going to go by myself. And so, so Annika came with me and I went over to the bathroom. She stayed outside. But then, I went to the bathroom. We came, and it was totally
The minute
calm.
you crossed the door,
Oh, yeah,
jammed
it
into
was-
our room, it was just night and day difference.
completely calm.
Crystal
It was
grids, y'all.
crazy.
Crystal grid.
Mhm. That's what we do whenever we went to a haunted location and we traveled and stayed at a hotel. We always took our own
I think
little
we had a
grid.
crystal grid in every.
You had a crystal grid in your room.
Yep, in every room
We had
that
one in
we
our
were
room.
staying in.
Yeah, we didn't put one up.
And you got blown.
on purpose.
Yes,
Whoa.
We did.
yes, we
I
did.
think our 2 rooms were the only rooms that had crystal grids.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
we
thought you
brought
guys
one.
had yours.
We brought one,
But you
we
didn't
did
put it
not,
up.
No, we didn't put it up.
We did not.
They were egging it on.
You wanted to have experiences.
He wanted to get blown.
We did.
In
Well,
his face.
we did that in Lava when we stayed. We did an overnight investigation at Lava Hot Springs, and we stayed in one of the surgical rooms, and we were hoping to have anything happen.
Yeah.
Oh, we got nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, everything's a little bit different. So, what was your most memorable or favorite thing that happened this last year?
Wait, favorite or memorable?
Both.
Wow, okay.
Either one. Take your pick.
Golly, that's. I don't know. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna have to think about that.
All right. We'll skip you for now. All right, Terry, you're up.
Terry's like, keep moving.
When we start with Elisa, she's ready.
All right. Elisa,
Oh my gosh,
start us
guys.
off.
Hey, we see you with your book over there.
As long as,
I
you
know.
know you're prepared.
I may have taken notes.
as long as it's not, I got hissed at because we just covered that.
I know it wasn't. Oh, okay. One of my most favorite experiences was at the tuberculosis hospital, but it was upstairs. We were investigating in the attic. And for me, that was like I used to see things when I was little and experience things when I was little, but I haven't had that since I was like 3 or 4, right? But I remember it. But this time, I don't know. I guess I was just open enough or what? I don't know. But I could actually see them. And it was like, and I talked about this on another podcast, but how I saw like, I don't know, 5 entities walking towards me, and they would,
That was up in the attic, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like I would turn my head and I would turn back, and all of a sudden they'd be a foot closer. Yeah. And they were zigzagging across the floor. And I'm like, it was crazy because if I just stared at them, they didn't move. But then I would turn my head and turn back, and they would be closer and closer and closer. And they went halfway across the attic. They came up halfway, which
It's a big attic.
is huge.
It's long.
So they had a big distance to go. And it
Yeah.
wasn't like my eyes were playing tricks on me because they literally moved. I don't know. It was crazy.
Well, it kept happening. It didn't just happen
and
once. It was
and it was
multiple.
like, okay, rub my eyes. Okay, is it real? And then I open them, and there they are, closer. So, and it just got creepy. And so then we ended up like saying, okay, what is this really? Because it was starting to like freak us out because it was nothing we'd ever experienced before, right? And normally, like, I don't see that. So I feel things in the room, but it's not like, oh, there's that one and that one and that one, and you could define them. But so we're like, okay, really, what is this? It just feels like a bully trying to scare me, and take a breath, and it's not. It's nothing compared to what it seems to be. And then all of a sudden, they disappeared one by one and ended up just being one.
Oh, so he's trying to be intimidating.
So it was like, yes, I don't know, but and then it just went all the way back to the back of the attic
Because you figured him out.
because I figured them out, or we figured them out.
Yeah.
So
It reminds me of like Monty Python. Just the way you're telling about it, it's like Monty Python, the Holy Grail, right? And there's Lancelot's going to storm the castle, and like the guards are standing there. It's like just like running, and then like it goes back to them, then it goes back, and he's like running again, and like 5 or 6 times, it's like the same footage of him running forward,
yeah,
and then finally he just pops up there. It's kind of like that, but in reverse. Like,
Yeah,
keeps getting
yeah.
closer, then finally.
yep, yeah. So
Sorry.
going into the point where it was like, okay, use your logical thought. What is it really? Calm yourself down, and then look how much power you have to put it back in its place just by calling it out. Like, it was really cool. That's that whole experience. It could have been terrifying, right? But it was so cool at the same time because I've just never experienced anything like that.
It's because you're a wizard, Harry.
Well, there was an owlery up there, right?
Or there was.
Or a witch. Or a Jedi.
Mind tricks.
What about you, Mike?
So now we're going backwards now, so I have to go...
Reverse.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
then the
gotta-
next question comes back around this way then.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so most memorable that night in Gooding, night 2, when we were having our, that same moment when Elisa got hissed at. We were having a meeting, we were talking some pretty intense stuff, and I swear everything negative in the entire southern Idaho space came in and was surrounding us there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty intense, it was pretty heavy. You know, I'm kind of the muggle of the group, I like to consider myself. I'm a little bit less sensitive than everybody else. I mean, I still sense things. Everybody has that ability.
A little more sensitive than the floor.
Yeah, a slightly bit. Not quite as much as the chair. But even I could feel him right on my back of my neck, just right there,
Yeah.
and breathing on me. And it was really intense. And it made anybody afraid to get up off the couch.
Yeah, because we were all
intense.
sitting in a circle.
Mm-hmm.
With me with my back to the kitchen and where everything else was, the big room.
It did
And
feel
so-
like we were surrounded.
It
In the
was,
window.
You could feel that energy, and it was pretty intense. And so that's probably my most memorable. And I think my favorite, I have to go back to all the little kid hugs things out of Benson.
Oh, I get that.
Because that was just fun.
That is cool.
And
Yeah.
that's like the happy rewards, the happy side. I mean, you get the evil side. You get into that intense stuff where they're trying to scare you, and it's kind of a battle of wills. You know, it's a battle of courage. You know, I'm braver than you are. You're a ghost, but you can't beat me. I have a body, and I know what you are, and I win. But yeah, when you get those fun investigations where it's just happy interactions,
Yeah.
yeah,
that's what we
that
live
is
for.
cool.
So,
That is cool.
sorry, do you want me to go a lot longer? You had
No,
a lot
you're
longer.
good.
No, that's good.
Okay.
I really liked the Petite Neat investigation. For as short a time as we were there, that place was so active. And we got some really good EVPs that night. Elise and I, we investigate really well together.
Mm-hmm.
We play off of each other really, really well. Our energy meshes really well together.
Yeah.
Getting the EVP of the one lady crying was
Oh, yeah.
the craziest thing ever.
That was down in the basement.
That was
wasn't
down in the basement. We were like all back there. We were like crawling underneath pipes, and we were on dirt like way
floors.
back there.
Dirt floors.
And so I really, really enjoyed the Petite Neat investigation just because of how active it was that night. And then I'm going to have to fall back to Gooding as the most memorable. There was so much that happened that night as a whole for our team, for us. Me and
Us
Mike
on a
got some
personal
stuff
level?
on a
Yeah.
personal level, got some stuff that night that totally changed a lot of perspective for us. And I think that was one of the nights
Did you
I
guys
think
just
where
hear that ghost?
I think that was one night where we came together stronger as a team.
Oh, agreed. That was really cool.
So
Yep.
Yeah, that was that was neat.
It was
So-
a cool night.
What is happening with your cats?
He's just being ornery.
He's singing the song of his people. He does it often.
Jamie for the win.
He
That
does
was the
that
best
a lot.
answer you could have ever given.
All right, Jamie. What was your most favorite or most memorable?
I'll start with most memorable, of course. And I'm going to have to concur with everybody else. For me, it was definitely Gooding. In that moment when we were having that meeting as a team, we were hashing out a lot of things. And so, there were tears and there was, a little bit of everything in there, but, overall we came out of it really strong and it was very refreshing. But in the moment where it felt like every negative entity, spirit, just kind of engulfed all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You could feel it. It's
We were
like-
surrounded. We were literally surrounded.
I remember Lisa saying, you could feel that things started to get really heavy.
she was closing the curtains.
And she
They
was-
couldn't
yeah.
see in through the windows.
Right. And she's like, she got up, she started closing the curtains and, and at one point she's like, guys, we need to stop. We need to say a prayer.
yeah,
But
they
you
were.
could feel it.
Well, because they started outside of those rooms, because if you can picture a big long hallway and that separates the bedrooms from the living room and the kitchen area and a dining room area. And I mean, it's a pretty long span. I mean, I don't know how long that entire room was.
Oh, it was a lot.
80
Probably
feet.
about 80 feet. 90
Yeah.
feet.
Long,
So picture
yeah.
this big
Maybe 100.
room, and there's doors that are closed to this, living room, dining room, and kitchen, and they're closed. But then, and we felt good in there when we started,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And we could tell they were out there, but it's like, they're fine.
They're keeping their distance.
Yeah.
At that point.
But then it just slowly kept encroaching in, in, and then it was like, it's like somebody staring at you through the window, peeping at you, like as close as they can get, and all of a sudden they're in the kitchen, and then they're slowly coming through the dining room, and then because
You
it
get surrounded.
you just feel heavier and thicker, and it just doesn't feel good.
No, it didn't. I mean,
Yeah,
the hair just stood up. All
yeah.
over.
So I knew at that point, with how close they
We
were
had to
getting,
stop.
we needed to get it figured out and taken care of
Yeah.
before we continued.
So yeah, for most memorable, that one will stick with you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See,
Definitely.
all your hair stood up, but I have more hairs than you guys do, all over my body. I'm a hairy brother.
Well, I
Let's
didn't
hope more
shave my
hair
legs
than me.
right? I didn't shave my legs that weekend, so but anyways, but for my favorite thing, I think it was, for the fun aspect, I think I would have to say the experiments that we tried at the old Montana State Prison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting a chance to kind of pull those out and do those again, and then do the one with the dowsing rods, and then the one where you guys were up in the death tower and we were in the warden's office. I mean, I want to do more of those things.
So explain
For
what we
sure.
did.
So we understood that on the grounds there were a couple bodies, because there used to be a little graveyard over there, that were buried, that they never relocated because they couldn't find them. So what we did is we decided that we were going to, one by one, go over there and using the dowsing rods, ask the spirits or spirit that was buried there to kind of lead us to where their body was.
Yeah.
And so we do it one at a time, and the others would be in other locations, or we usually went in groups of 2,
Yep.
but we'd have the other person turn their back. And once they were done, then we'd have the other person do it, and then we'd tell each other where we ended up.
Yeah, I
So-
epically failed on that.
Well, and I have a theory about that,
I
though.
think I failed
Yeah.
the worst, did I not?
No,
Actually, no, I stopped
Terry
on
did.
it.
I was on the wrong side of everybody else.
She was way off course.
That's nothing uncommon.
But the thing is I think I have a theory about that. Is I think that the first 2 or 3 times the spirit's like, yeah, okay, telling each of us as we come along. I think by the time Mike got there, he did hit on the spot, but then he kept going. It kept telling him to go.
You paused on that spot.
I did stop
He
right
did.
on the spot.
Yeah.
He
and then,
did.
And then I'm like, is this it? She's like, nah, go this way.
Yep. At that point, I think the spirit was getting tired of playing our game and just
Start
decided
playing
to
her own
mess
game.
with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
and then led
Exactly.
Terry
Way off
off.
course.
Yeah, they didn't like me.
Yeah.
But
Terry-
that was a lot of fun.
That was fun.
We all ended up on the right-hand side of the sidewalk, except for Terry, who was on the left.
And way
So
up.
don't trust me on the dowsing rods. I can't hold them right now anyway, so it's fine. I can't.
You
use
will
them.
soon. You will soon.
I hope
You
so.
will,
I hope
yeah.
so.
So what about
Josh?
What about you?
Oh,
Same question.
same answers, I guess. Yeah, I mean, obviously, most memorable, obviously, the second night at Gooding will always stick by in that avenue, right? I think just because from the intensity alone, right?
Yeah.
That we've already talked about.
But it's something that we all experienced together,
Yeah,
which made it very unique.
Absolutely.
it did. Usually, like like it's like that personal experience. Like you can have 3 people together in a group, and one person gets a personal experience, and everyone else is like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Or it's like we're all spread out. We all go in our own little groups, and then groups of 2. And then
Yeah.
we come back and say, hey, this happened to me, but never has
Never
it
together.
happened to us all together at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And then we weren't even really investigating. I mean, that's
No.
that's the part that was kind of the craziest
I
of
think
it all.
that's, I wonder if that may be part of why is because they wanted to play.
Yeah.
And I mean, and true, we had some kind of intense conversation, but still, I think they wanted to play with us, and we weren't coming to play, and so they came to us,
And we were supposed to.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
supposed to, but
and they knew it.
Yeah, but I think it was. I mean, for everybody as a whole, I think it was the best thing for everything that happened. But yeah, it was just super memorable, and that everyone favorite. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back to the prison too for that. However, I was going to use the dowsing rod thing because that was a lot of fun. Even the Estes method where we did
That
it
was fun,
remote
too.
was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I had a coworker come. So I work for a company that we're all 100% remote. We're spread out throughout the U.S., Canada, and Costa Rica. Actually, and then we have some people in Europe too. So we're all over the place. And so chances of us getting together and seeing each other like in person is pretty low. But it just so happened my coworker lived all of like 2.5 hours from the prison. And so he got a chance to come down, never been on a paranormal investigation before, kind of got to break him in, and just spend a little bit of time investigating. And that was a lot of fun to get somebody new and like open to like the possibility of things.
Mm-hmm.
And we got EVPs out of it, which was really neat. So it was a lot of fun. So we have one more question that's investigation related, but I'm going to hold off on that one for a minute. So let's go podcast wise.
Favorite EVP.
That's next.
He's coming back to it.
We're gonna circle the wagons back around.
What was your favorite? What's your favorite episode that we did in the last year? We did 26 of them. So what was your favorite one?
Was I there for any of these?
You were there for every one
You
of
were
them.
there for all of them. I missed 6.
Okay.
Well, you were there for 24 of them, to be technically correct.
Okay. I don't know. You know, for me, I really love the very first one we did. I really do. I just think that one, because that's kind of what kicked it off, and that's what kind of helped lead us to where we are now, to where we all come together and sit down together and do this instead of just like one or two of us. We found that, you know, this group dynamic in the podcast, and I always look forward to these. I look forward to everybody coming. I always try to plan out what we're gonna have for snacks and dinner, and I love just sitting around and joking and laughing.
And we never go unfed.
No.
All my
It's
weight
always
gain.
Nor
good
will you.
food.
All my weight gain is because of Jamie.
I
blame
know.
her.
All of your wigging?
Wow.
What?
All of your wigging?
My weight gain.
Oh, weight
Weight
gain.
Wigging.
Sorry, can you turn my monitor up here? I'm having a hard time. No, I'm just kidding.
Mike forgot to wear his hearing aids today.
Oh.
I went to go
that'll do
get
it.
hearing aids actually once, and they said your ears aren't bad enough. It's like some hearing loss, but not enough. I was like, screw you. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, when we started this out, right, we weren't thinking about having 5 people on a podcast together.
We weren't at all. We thought there would be 2 main hosts, and that anybody on the team that wanted to sit in on a particular episode could request to do so, but that basically it would just be 2 people. But then when we sat down and did the first one together, we all had such a good time.
Everyone got bit by the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And now we have 5 set microphones.
Yes,
Yep.
we do.
we do.
We do.
Because there were like 2 people. We had like
We had 2 people sharing.
We only
3 or
had
4.
4 to
You-
start.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
and I shared a microphone.
Yeah, and that was kind of a pain to kind of pass
Josh
it back
and
and
Jamie
forth.
shared a
Yep.
microphone.
The married couples shared
That's why
microphones.
I didn't bring anyone.
I wanted my own microphone.
And our,
Actually, Lisa and I shared one.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, her and I
That's
did.
true.
yep. And it was a smaller table,
It was a smaller room.
In a smaller room.
Oh no.
and it was real echoey.
It was.
What?
It
Were you making
was.
faces at me? What?
No.
No.
Hand signals? What?
Keep going.
Gang fights. I can't trust you. Do I have to sit between the 2 of you?
You are.
You are.
But
So yeah, and you know, and we've in a year we've actually come quite a ways
yeah,
with the podcast. We've upgraded in a lot of areas, and
it helps when you move to a new place.
it does. Oh, does it?
It is a
ever.
lot more spacious down here in your basement than it
Yeah,
was
it
in
is.
that room.
Better sound quality too.
Yeah, I think so. Just a
Yeah.
better vibe
Yeah.
I think so too.
in the studio.
Now it's like a big office area, so it's great.
It is.
It's the dungeon.
The dungeon. Da, da, da.
Perfect.
Oh,
yeah.
new decoration ideas.
Yes. Chains.
Yes.
Like manacles hanging on the sides. Hang up some skeletons.
Terry, what was your favorite one?
Mine kind of go. There's 2, and it's the Richard Ramirez and the Cecil Hotel.
Mhm.
I loved both of those episodes. I was so prepared, so ready, learned so much about both of those subjects. I hardly had to look at my notes. There's some great content in those episodes. I just had recently some coworkers, which I'm going to do a shout out to Rebecca. She's listening.
Hey, Rebecca.
And that was like the first episode I told them to go listen to. And another one of my coworkers, Carolyn, lived in California during Richard Ramirez and the night. And so she's like, they found a body like in the yard behind her house. They thought that might have been from him.
Oh, jeez.
And so it hit
scary.
really close to home for her. So she's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go listen right now. She absolutely loved it. There was information she got from our podcast that she had never heard before, even after living in California with all that kind of stuff.
Jeez.
So she said, that those 2 podcasts, my favorite, hands down.
And that was our only true crime one, too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know
Absolutely.
that some of our listeners were surprised to hear us go the true crime route, but they didn't complain about it. They all enjoyed it. So,
Yeah, no one complains. It's always fun. We love the macabre in general, right?
well, the Cecil Hotel wasn't so much true crime because there is the hauntings and stuff that were there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the Richard Ramirez was definitely true crime.
Yeah.
for sure.
But it's hard to talk about the Cecil Hotel and the people and things that have happened in there and not touch on Richard Ramirez.
Yeah. They went hand in hand. It really did.
Yeah.
Well, both have a very heavy history.
Yes.
Yeah.
The building itself,
100%.
and then of course Ramirez.
Yeah. It has a very, very dark history.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to those, go listen to them. They're good.
Absolutely.
They're good episodes.
Mr. Mike.
I got to say the same. I got to echo. You guys, see, that's why, yeah. So I think my
Well, you
two
were
favorites.
saying the first episode earlier.
The first episode is probably my favorite one because we all, we're all a little narcissist, right? Whether you want to admit it or not, we all like to talk about ourselves.
No, we don't.
Yes, you do. We all love to talk about the experiences we had. I mean,
Yeah.
the first episode we were talking about where's your favorite place you've ever investigated?
Yeah.
What's the scariest thing you've ever had happen? So we're telling these stories that are personal to us, just kind of like we are tonight. And it's one of those ones where I had to do no homework for that episode. I just
That's why
went
you
and showed up.
liked it.
That's why he
And
likes those. No homework
and-
episodes are his favorite.
But I think they're the most interesting as well because that's what I think people want to hear. I can give a list a bunch of dates and times and tell stories that I read somewhere, but these are all things that are personal to me. And I think when it's personal to you, you tell it in a way, like tonight we're talking about
Right.
what happened in Gooding, and you're telling it in a way that people are like, wow, that must have been so crazy, rather than just. So I think that's probably why that's my favorite. Number 2, I think and a close second is the Richard Ramirez because I learned so much I did not know on that one. I mean, I probably put more research into and more homework and learned so much more out of that one than any of the other ones we've done. Not saying I've been trying to slack off and whatnot, but there was so much for that one. And each one was a heinous crime in itself, and so to learn the details of each particular one and to just kind of think about the fear of what was going on and how evil.
well, it's
this
nice when
was.
you have that much information available for a subject.
Hey, I'm just going to go ahead and tell my wife, tell everybody, my wife does all of my research.
No, I don't.
She's directs me into places.
No, I don't.
So I just
I'm
want to
just
give her
saying,
credit.
there was lots of information out there on him where there are some
there
subjects
was.
we pick where we struggle trying to find information.
Yeah.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
struggle trying to get content for the podcast. But there was so much available for him that it was digging through the weeds of like, what do we cover? What do we not cover? That's why it ended up being such a long episode.
And it was
Yeah.
a tough. I mean, it's like one of those things too. Like where you turn a corner and you're like, oh my gosh, there's another 16 articles
Yep.
on this piece alone. And it's like it's everywhere.
Because there was so much information on his childhood and then his teenage years and just like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so much on him.
My wife directed me to where to find some of this homework and a lot of it. So that's why I'm giving her the credit. Because I think that's what you were fishing for.
No, that was not what I was fishing for at all.
Okay.
I wasn't fishing for anything.
So I want to make sure she
I
gets
was
the
just-
credit. I got to go home with her.
No, it wasn't even that at all. I don't.
Okay.
No, I was
Okay.
honestly saying there was just so much
There was a
available on
lot.
him.
Yeah.
There was a
Whereas
lot.
other episodes, we've struggled sometimes. We've showed up, we're like, we've got nothing.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we get going and we get recording and we're like, oh my gosh, we have more than we realize we have.
Yeah.
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
episodes did we have part 2s on?
2.
Yeah.
Like Benson and then
Benson and
The celebrity ghost stories.
Celebrity-
Celebrity
Ghost
Ghost Stories. But because that was such a broad topic.
Yeah.
right?
Well, because we did
Yeah.
haunted movies and we did the Club 27 and then we
Yeah.
also did the.
Yeah.
So it was a broad one because we didn't know we were going to have that much information for that one either.
Yeah.
We thought we were
Exactly.
going to have like a half-hour episode and be done, but we ended up with so much, we split it into 2 episodes.
But yes, first episode, then Richard Ramirez.
How about you, Elisa?
I think mine was the second one where it was like the type of haunts.
That was
Because-
number 2.
The one I
because-
wasn't on, that's why you liked it.
Oh, that's why I loved it.
She got her
You
own.
didn't- you
She
didn't
got her
have
own mic
Yeah,
for the
so
first
she didn't
time.
have to share a mic that night. I'm just kidding.
No, it It's because I think when we dive into the types of things that we do, then it's also a type of personal way of talking. And so during the podcast, it's not necessarily as much reading from a story that we found. It's what we have learned throughout the years of investigating and what we find and all of that. So for me, I think that was the most fun one for me.
Just explaining to people like the purpose of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And why we try to help people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we still have more to go on that one too, because we didn't even get to the non-inhuman.
Yeah.
We really kind of skipped over that one.
So what about you, Josh, though? What was your favorite podcast?
Honestly, the sleepover games.
Oh, that was quite funny.
And it was because of that, right?
Yeah.
It's like
A lot of humor.
there was so much things, like there was so much humor in it, and like I still ever to this day when I started playing with the microphone, or not microphone, microwave, it's like, if you're here, heat my food.
That one was kind of just a shot in the dark that ended up being a kind of a fun one to do.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
Because there's like all these games, like the leprechaun and the chocolate. It's like, seriously, yeah, we got chocolate here. We're going to turn off the lights here in a minute. And we're
Well,
gonna
no, you got to put a mirror
oh, that's right.
under it
Who
and hang the
comes up with
chocolate
this?
bar
the thing
from
is
there.
there were so many
comes up with
games.
this?
There were so many games we didn't even cover. We could do a part 2 of that.
Oh,
if we
yeah.
wanted
There's
to.
just so much there.
Mike doesn't want
I didn't
to.
want to do it the first time around. Do you have on your list of questions shows we didn't like?
Oh, actually, that's the
Okay,
next.
good.
That's actually the next question.
Okay.
I think you already know his answer on that.
Right?
You can go first.
No, it's actually not. But it's like it's in my top 5.
But no, it was fun because it was a lot of joking. There was just a lot of like laughter about it because some of it's like, seriously, like
yeah.
this is like, who comes up with this stupid thing?
Yeah, well, I had a friend make a comment like, "Do you know how to play these games?" They were like, "Oh yeah, we'd play that one. Oh yeah, we'd play that one. But don't play them at home. But oh yeah, I'll play that one." So we were contradicting ourselves, but it was still funny.
Yeah. So least favorite.
Oh, me. The least favorite for me was the Ningen.
I think that's gonna be community.
I know. Can we all just agree on that one?
That was the shortest episode too.
That was my least favorite. I think it was number 9, right?
There wasn't much
No,
on
that
it
one-
to even go on. It's because they said it's a fairly new cryptid.
That one was so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's number 9. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. So I think for me, that was, well, it was just so out there.
hmm
And it was, I don't know.
There just wasn't a lot there
No.
either.
There was hardly any information on that one at all.
It's just not my thing.
But you got to admit though, some of those pictures.
We're
Oh yeah,
hilarious.
some of the
Oh
pic-
my gosh.
Some of the pictures were amazing, and I mean cryptids in themselves are kind of hard to do
Yeah.
because a lot of it is folklore and not true.
Right.
Because our New Jersey Devil one ended up being okay, but there was a lot of information on the New Jersey Devil because it's
Right.
been around for so long.
right.
Mhm.
But-
And it continues to have things.
It
that-
continues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah, but
Mike.
I hadn't heard of the Jersey Devil though before that, so it was interesting.
You had
No,
heard
for
of
me,
the New Jersey Devils.
I've heard of the New Jersey Devils hockey team, but the Jersey Devil cryptid or whatever that thing was, I don't know.
See, I remember it from an episode of X-Files.
Yeah, me too.
I tried to block out all memory of the X-Files.
I loved it.
'Cause
I
didn't like
love
that
the
show.
It was
X-Files.
so
Loved
good.
it.
I like the one with the
Yeah.
honey bucket.
I've seen every episode.
You,
Honey Buckets.
what?
We used to watch X Files all the time.
Yeah, I don't remember any of it.
So what was
So
your
what's your
least
least
favorite?
favorite?
Least favorite to record was the Ninja.
The carrot.
Ningen.
Yeah.
The scary Baymax.
However you say it.
It was
Yeah.
Baymax from Big Hero 6. Just scarier,
Depending
I
on the
guess.
picture you looked at, yes.
Or
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that one was a really harsh one. It was really. I struggled with the sleepover games. I did not want to do that one coming into it, and y'all roped me into it. And I think I had a good time while I was here. But honestly, I don't know. I was not. I wasn't into that one. And then and then the third one I think would be merely just because I think I was tired and I spaced out. I don't really remember much from the Bannock episode.
That was a long night. You guys recorded
We had
2
recorded
episodes
about
that
the
night.
prison, and
Yeah.
then we ended up Bannock because it was
Yeah.
the same trip.
Yeah.
And Terry was reminding me, he's like, "Yeah, you botched my story about the celebrity."
That was on the Montana prison
Yeah.
episode.
I was on the prison episode.
But then
See,
I was
don't
the
know.
one who I wasn't here for those 2 episodes.
Yeah.
He was
That's right.
messaging me, asking me for information.
As we were recording.
And that was where he got the information for how the town became an AK versus an OK versus because
Right.
the postal. Anyways,
Yeah.
so I was like,
But-
yeah, you were there. I wasn't there, but you were there.
Yeah, so it's hard to nail down one. I haven't loved all of them, and some of them I thought were just the best. So, but I think we're always self-critical, right? It's like
Yeah.
I didn't do a very good job on that one.
Well, and it's also the first year, right? So we're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Still
So
getting
So there's
over it.
a whole nother year of potential worse shows. Then is what
oh
you're saying.
yes,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too, right? Like you're gonna get in like the Ningen episode, right? Like I was actually really excited going into like the research part of that, and then we get into the research and like,
There's just nothing.
Oh, crap.
There's hardly
there's
anything.
nothing there.
Oh my gosh,
Now what
guys.
do we do?
okay, so I have a friend. She's my best friend. She's in Japan, right? She's Japanese. And I Marco Polo'd her and I was like, girl, can you give me any information about this? She starts laughing at me. She's like,
First of all,
yeah. She's like, what are you researching again? And I guess I can look up information for you if that's what you really want. Like, yeah, it was.
That's real bad when it's a Japanese cryptid and someone from Japan's like, "Girl, you're
off your rocker,
you're done."
man.
Oh, what about you, Terry?
Oh, mine's the same. It's the
Yeah.
I can't even say it.
Ningen.
just say carrot. It's the carrot.
That one. The second one I probably struggled with the most was actually Dracula's Castle. That one I really, really struggled with because the information that I was supposed to find, I couldn't find, and I don't know.
Dracula's castle or Frankenstein's castle?
Dracula's. No, wait. That was the second one, right? Was the Dracula's?
Breaks.
Frankenstein
was
was- No, it was-
second.
No, it was Frankenstein, not Dracula.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was Frankenstein's castle.
Yeah, that was a
That
tough.
one.
That was another tough one.
That was a tough one.
And again, it's like when we select these topics, right? We don't do any pre-research to selecting
No,
the
we
topic.
just select a topic.
Yeah.
And we just go with it.
And so yeah, we get into it and you're like, uh-oh.
So,
Too
we
late
know
to change.
So we know how to like BS our way through some topics. Let me
Oh,
tell
yeah.
you, because I've got some friends and coworkers who are like, man, you guys had so much information. Like, if you only knew. And now I just blew it for everybody.
I just do what
The
I'm
secret
told.
is out.
I do what I told her. I'm getting the hose again.
What about you, Jamie?
Well, I think I'm going to have to just follow suit because definitely it was the
Ningen
The
carrot.
carrot.
It's the carrot.
The carrot.
There wasn't a lot to go on that one.
No.
And it was rough. It was so rough. And I couldn't get into it, obviously. But I'd have to say a close second for me was actually the Ireland one. So I have had a fascination with Ireland all my life. There's this strange draw I've always had to it. I have like all these Celtic CDs. I have all this. I'm fascinated by it. It's the one place I want to go in this world.
Yeah.
Before I die. The one place. And I was so disappointed.
But what made it so disappointing?
I don't know. I guess I just had this thought of how it was going to go differently.
Uh-huh.
And it just ended up not fitting inside what I had pictured.
So, I mean, Ireland has got a lot of history and folklore and things that we can
It
do.
does. But
so
for whatever reason, I found it disappointing.
would it be one that you would want to do over?
Possibly.
I mean, I think we all can agree we don't want to do the Ningen one over.
No. I mean, we can do like other Japanese things, because they have some pretty creepy crap, but
Oh, they do. Yeah, absolutely.
But not the Ningen.
No.
Yeah. So those would be my two.
And here's the thing is like Irish folklore, I think was episode 3. And
It
I
was
think,
one of the
and-
top. Yeah.
One of
and
the first.
Ningen, I think, was number 4.
Yeah.
So
No, number 3 was the Jersey Devil. 4 was Petite Neat. 5 was Irish folklore.
okay, 5.
Ningen was was 9.
9.
Okay, so 5 and 9.
Yeah.
So it's still really early in our time, and all
It
of those were
was.
recorded in our previous location
It
too.
was.
I think a part for me with the Irish one was I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
It was hard to find.
Well, like the
Well-
Doulahan, like
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you think that you could be able to find all this information on stuff because you hear all these stories and you go like,
do.
oh, there's like one story. The
Yeah.
one story I've heard all my life.
yeah,
right?
and how do you make that interesting?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, right?
For me,
Yeah.
it was pretty like dry and
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That one was a tougher one.
I didn't feel
think.
like there was enough depth in there.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, that was still, or like I said, it was five.
It was
right?
early.
Yeah.
It was
And so we
early.
were still trying to get our feet underneath us on how to present data or present the information out. So, yeah, that one was a tough one too.
What about you?
There's so many of them. There's like 25 of them.
That you
Oh, come on.
Josh hated every single one of them.
hate. He hated having to listen to every single one of them
500
again
times.
And
and
editing
edit
them.
it and get it posted. And
Man, what was my least favorite? I'm trying to think. There's one that was really dry and really tough to do, and Jamie knows which one that is.
I do.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier today.
Was it one of your interviews?
Yeah.
I know which one. I can
and-
guess.
Yeah.
I can guess.
And it really was a lot of, because it was, when you're interviewing somebody and talking with somebody, usually you want this back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no back and forth.
It was like pulling teeth.
It's like, hey, so what'd you think about this location?
Yes.
It was good.
It was good. It's
Yeah.
like, seriously.
Like, when you
it.
get
Wait,
when
it's
you
like
get
talking to a
when
teenager.
you get one word answers back, you're
Yeah.
like, no, go into more depth,
Yeah.
more
Right.
explanation.
There's
Yeah.
there's nothing to go off of. You have
Yeah.
to pull it out of people. It becomes a lot of work. It's tiresome.
yeah.
It's just it's hard.
And I think we lost half our listenership during that episode.
It is so to this day. I believe it is our lowest downloaded
I
one.
told you
yeah.
I was
I think
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that would be the one.
I'm trying to be better.
So, okay, so let's go into something that Elisa was asking about earlier.
Favorite
EVPs. And yeah, so like when we go out and we investigate, right? We obviously look for evidence that we can share. And so in some cases it's video evidence, which would be awful for radio and for podcasts. Like, hey, look at my video. That's just not going to work now, is it?
No. Doesn't quite work that
Most
way.
of the time, no.
No. So EVPs, like electronic voice phenomenon, voices that show up on recordings that we didn't hear with our own ears. So that's kind of like, other than using dowsing rods, which all of us have used and do use to get information out. That's the one piece of evidence that we share a lot. So what was your favorite EVP?
My favorite EVP was at Petite Neat, and we were in it's like the cafeteria. No, I say cafeteria. The bathroom.
That was a
area.
Donner. So that's the cowboy room now. It was the old showers, male
Yeah.
and female locker room.
And in there, there's like its own separate room. In that room, that is the what, Mike?
The blacksmith shop.
The blacksmith shop. I can't remember names
Yeah,
of things, guys.
Yeah,
it's
just
more.
I
It's an
struggle.
overglorified closet, essentially.
We're
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
for you, Lisa.
Thanks,
We
guys.
got you.
Thanks. So we all felt like this creepy dude that had been hanging out in that little room inside in that blacksmith shop. And so I decided to put my back to it and do a live EVP session, which is where I have my headphones on. And then I've got my headphones connected to my recorder so I can hear everything as it's happening.
Wasn't this the first time you tried it? One of the first times?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so while it was going, we had connected with some female spirits there, and we were chatting with them. And I don't remember if I asked them or if Mike asked them, but
I did.
asked, do the girls ever talk to the creepy guy that's in that room? And I'm like, so do you ever talk to him? And then you hear, like, Mike gets the dowsing rods instantly that says no, right? Or no. And then right after he says that, like a split second after that, I get an EVP of the male in that room that goes, no.
Oh, you like
It was
freaked
loud,
out.
yeah.
Like you took your headphones off. You're like, you guys, did you hear that?
It was so
It was
it was
so loud.
and it was right. Yeah, it was so cool.
So we ceased investigating right there, and then she like handed us. We just passed around.
we
the
wound
headphones
Yeah.
it, and we
around
all
and played
heard it. It was crazy.
It's crazy. Do you have it queued up, Josh? Okay.
We'll have you guys listen to it now. Do you guys talk to him? Was that you?
Did you guys hear that?
Yeah. So here,
I'm gonna
so
play it one
you
more
asked.
time.
You
Yeah,
asked if you
yeah,
talked to him.
Yeah.
And then I said no, because that's what my rods did, because it's dark. So I kind of tell you what the rods are saying.
Yeah.
And right after I say it, you hear him with a big no.
Okay.
I'm going to play it one more time.
Yeah, play one more time.
Do it.
Turn your headphones up, everybody.
Do you guys talk to him?
That
Still-
is one of the best
Still
interviews
gives me
I
chills.
think
Still gives me
we've ever
chills.
gotten.
Still gives me chills.
Oh my word.
I think the part that was the creepiest about that is we figured out that guy had been dead while before that place was actually a school, and that he was the creeper dude because he hung out in the bathroom area and watched these kids take showers and
Oh,
get
yeah.
dressed
Yeah.
and-
That's why he
Nasty.
liked it in that spot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like the uber creeper
Mhm.
aspect of it. Just
Yeah, and you could just feel the creep vibe coming from him anyway.
yeah.
You know, so that
Did we
was
nickname him
my
Stinky
favorite.
Pete?
I think we did call him.
think so.
I think we nicknamed him Stinky Pete.
It reminds me of that,
Yeah.
just like that from Toy Story. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So that was my favorite. So real and so like just all up. I
Mhm.
don't know. It was
Yeah,
just really
that was
cool.
awesome.
that was awesome. That's probably the best EVP I think we've gotten this year, at least
So
in my
far.
mind.
Yeah.
I think you guys have a couple other ones, but that we've
Yeah.
talked about. But I think the best thing that I actually picked up on mine was from the Montana State Prison, and there was a point where Terry had walked down the cell block, and I had the recorder sitting next to me in the chair,
That was not an EVP.
and
Whatever. That was hands down.
I
the
got
best.
growled at like you would not believe
From under your chair too.
from under my chair
Okay,
there.
we're gonna play that now. No, just kidding. No, we're not.
Oh, I'm sure Josh has it. I made him vow not to ever play that on this show.
He
That
did.
was my favorite.
But I will tell you, you're sitting out there and you just let him go, and I let it go, and oh my gosh,
His recorder was
did
right
that
next.
did that resonate in that room?
Echo.
It
Oh
echoed
my
through that
gosh.
whole entire cell block.
I'm sure there were 1,000 ghosts in there. Well, not 1,000 because they don't know how many cells, but however many cells there were in there, how many spirits are in those cells. I'll bet they all erupted laughing
Oh, I bet.
because they're guys, and guys, farts are funny, but.
Either that or they just went, oh.
I'm grateful I can't smell anymore. I didn't even smell it.
No,
it was
there
just
was no
loud.
smell to it.
It was just
loud.
loud. And like I said, for the room we were in, the acoustics, you could not have beat it.
No.
How many times
So-
did we listen to that night, you guys?
Oh.
and over.
At least a half an
I
hour's
was in
worth.
tears.
Yeah.
I was laughing
Well,
so
it
hard.
It never got old.
No.
It's funny, okay?
It
and
was
and when
funny.
you're ghost hunting and you're dealing with a lot of serious stuff, a little bit of levity here and there,
Absolutely.
it's good for the soul.
And when you
It is.
haven't slept in 24 hours,
Everything's
and it's
funnier.
6 o'clock in the morning.
It was funny at the time. It's probably not appropriate for the podcast.
No.
but-
But even then, the way that you guys brought it to us was like,
it was so
We were
good.
you
so
guys,
excited.
we
got
caught
the best EVP.
the best EVP. Just listen real hard.
We didn't tell
Didn't I
you guys
hook
what
it
it
up
was.
to a
So
speaker?
serious.
Yeah.
We didn't tell you
I-
guys anything about what it was, the
No.
content of it, or anything.
I
And you
hooked-
guys all busted up laughing.
And I wasn't just playing it off the recorder either. I hooked it up to a speaker so that it was a little bit more.
Yeah.
You got to, if you're going to share something like that, you got to have some good acoustic.
Oh, you got the full reverb on that thing.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
great.
So that's my favorite recording. The favorite EVP does go back to that one there at Petite. I mean, there were other ones that we caught. There was other ones we caught at the prison.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that one was a full audible, solid. You just heard it. No.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the best.
Well, and like even I think another good one that we had there was when we were talking or asking about the Donner Party. If the Donner Party was there, Mike was asking, "Can you let us know that you're here? If anyone from the Donner Party is here?" And all of a sudden you hear a girl go, "Here."
Yeah. That was just before the Stinky Pete. No.
Yeah.
And then we also
was-
had the girl crying that night too.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot that night.
There
Yeah.
was a lot of good EVPs that night.
What
I'm going to
about
be
you,
honest.
Terry?
I haven't listened to my Benson stuff yet.
Nah, that's fine.
Me,
neither.
I don't have an EVP because I didn't.
You don't carry a recorder.
Well, she
I didn't get my recorder
recorder.
until halfway through the year, And the first time that I actually used my recorder was at the Montana prison.
Yeah.
And we left it set up with the Boo Bear.
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
And I got nothing.
Back in the tunnels, wasn't that?
Yeah, it was down in the tunnels. I left with the Boo Bear. I listened
It
to all of
actually
it.
got shut off, didn't it?
It did.
And
it was down there. Yeah, her Lisa's camera got shut off.
Uh-huh.
And I only got like maybe 15 to 20 minutes recording on it before it got shut off. And it was there for like 2 or 3 hours.
Oh,
yeah, that was
wow.
weird.
And it got shut off.
Everything got shut off in there.
Yeah.
And we were all set up. Like there was no reason for it to shut off.
No, there was no reason for it to be shut off. So we got to try setting that up again sometime.
Absolutely.
Probably out at Benson, sometime out in the in the schoolhouse or something, and just leave a camera on it with the recorder and just let it go.
Yeah.
Because and I used it there, and then I think I used it a little bit out at Benson, but I never really got any EVPs. So I'm just barely starting to record, so I don't have any
And
EVPs.
Benson's hard anyway because there's so much road noise
There's
and
a lot
stuff.
of road noise.
There is,
Yeah.
It's
but
nearly impossible.
but there are some spots that aren't so
Mm-hmm.
bad and that you can get some decent audio recording. But
Yeah.
Like then that night, the second night that we were there, they had that lantern festival.
The lantern
which
festival.
just made it
Cars
impossible.
There was
Right,
so much
24/7.
traffic on the road. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got lots of EVPs from you guys that I enjoyed, but they're yours, not
Yeah.
mine. So,
Right.
So I'm gonna skip Jamie for a minute because Jamie's has got like there's a wonderful story associated to the EVPs.
and this happened like the last 2 days
Yeah.
of the year.
last 2 days of the year. So I'm gonna skip that because mine's a lot quicker and a lot shorter. And then we'll
That's
get
what she says.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and she's here to prove it too. I mean,
Whoa!
I'll take your word for it.
Check, please. Yeah.
so mine is actually with Travis, my coworker, and we're at the prison. So we were walking into maximum security, which there is a Type 3 that hangs out in Max, and it was one of those times that I was just telling him about it. And we were just walking into the room, and that's when we got an EVP within like 30 seconds of actually investigating, which is always super neat when you get one right off the bat.
You know it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just, the 30 seconds into a 12-hour.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play that now.
All right.
Okay.
Get started. And
Just hit it and we'll go in.
all right.
Got your flashlight? Okay, cool. Right, perfect. All right. All right. So if you can hear that, and I'll play it again here in a minute, but there's this, it sounds almost like a little kid or a woman that says, "Hey." And it just comes up, and it's as I'm talking, and so it's not me. You can hear a dog in the background, which is pretty common for that section because there's homes that are right across the wall where you get that going on. But it's definitely not any of us. And everybody else was still back in the 1912 cell block at the time.
I
Can't
think
play
we'd
it
even
again.
started investigating it at that point.
No, we hadn't.
You're welcome, kids.
Mike's opening the bevy.
So that's why you hear it the first time.
All right.
Okay.
Get started. And
Just hit it and we'll go in.
all right.
Got your flashlight?
I do.
Okay, cool.
Turn it on.
Right, perfect. All right. All right. All right. Yeah. You hear it, right?
No, I didn't hear it.
I didn't hear it either.
It was right at the end.
It's like,
Oh,
It's just this real soft, hey,
Okay.
hey. So, yeah, I mean, that was my favorite EVP. And there's a lot, like I said, there's lots of stuff we've caught. But for me, that was kind of my favorite because taking someone new, you just don't know what you're going to get. And to get something right off the bat is super cool.
mm-hmm.
So, Jamie, what is your favorite EVP?
Well, favorite? I don't know. Typically, I don't carry around a digital recorder with
You don't?
me. I don't. That's usually your department. However, what was it? About a week and a half ago, and it was 2 days before New Year's Eve.
So, Wednesday the 29th.
Yeah. So Elisa and I were kind of talking back and forth on Marco Polo a little bit, and I had sent her a Marco Polo, and when I was done, she comes through and she's like, look, I haven't finished listening to it yet. She's like, but I want you to go back and listen to it. And about halfway through, she's like, you say this. And she goes, and there's what sounds like a little girl saying stop. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I go back and I listen to my Marco Polo. And sure enough, there's a little girl, as I'm talking about the back pain I'm having, there's a little girl that says stop.
And it is clear.
It's clear. It's not a whisper.
Mm-mm.
It is clear.
Almost like she's yelling.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is that, so my husband, he's not into the ghost stuff. He's
Not
like,
at all.
He's like, I believe that you believe it, but
He's a non-believer.
but he supports me, so it's good.
He's a good husband.
He is. And I had him listen to it before I even sent it to Jamie, and I didn't even say anything to him. I just said, listen. And he listened. He's like, oh, it's a girl says stop. I'm
Yeah.
like, ha, see? I got it. Like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
when
has
he-
for him to hear
how did
it,
he
that's
how did he
huge.
explain that?
he didn't.
Yeah, for him to hear
But he
that,
still just doesn't
it's
really
huge.
accept it. He's like,
Yeah, he just kind of blows it off. I don't know. I don't know.
maybe you don't beat him enough.
He supports me, so I just say, you, whatever you want.
That's true.
Oh my God.
You do you.
That's true.
You
You don't
do
rock
you.
the boat, right?
No, I don't rock the
so
boat.
supportive. It's awesome.
So the fact that he heard it so clear himself when he's like, it just like validated it for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, once I listened to it, I Marco Polo'd Elisa back and she's like, look, here's what you need to do. She's like, you need to do an EVP session right away. She had me kind of scan my Marco Polo video across our living room, dining room area to kind of see if she could feel out where this particular spirit was at. And then she sent me a picture back with a circle around it to kind of the location. Anyways, at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do my EVP session. So I was going to go downstairs and dig up the digital. And then my son comes upstairs and decides I'm going to do I'm going to do my chores right now. So I'm like, okay. So I wait for him. He goes out, check mail. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it now. And then my husband walks through the garage home from the store. So I have him go down and get the digital recorder. And bring it up and turn it on. And then I make him leave because there was this overwhelming feeling of that whatever was here in our home, that they didn't want Josh there.
I got kicked out of my own house.
So I told him, go down in the basement with, our son, and just close the door behind you at the top of the stairs. And so he did. And I just started asking questions. And Elisa had said it was a younger female. And so,
Well, first I sensed like someone in their 20s.
yeah, but then you said 18.
Then I was like, wait, but then maybe 18. And then I'm like, that kind of still doesn't sound
Yeah.
right. Like
Younger.
it seemed like it was even younger than that.
Yeah. So I treated it as like it was a very young female.
Yeah.
I still had my tree up at that point, and I was like, "Hey, let's turn on the Christmas lights." And aren't they beautiful? And so we, I think I did like a half an hour,
42 minutes to be exact.
42 minutes.
Well, when you're exiled, you count how long you're stuck.
I know. Right?
No, I
He's
know
like,
it
I'm
was,
down here. I need to pee.
He has the recording. He can see exactly how long
You're
it
right.
was.
So
Oh, this is
it
true.
was
Okay.
42 minutes because yes, I was the one that listened to the. to
I
the
made him go
recording.
through it. Yeah.
and I heard the EVPs out of it.
How many did we get total?
11.
Yeah, because when we were still Marco Poloing each other talking about it.
Yeah.
And
It was still going on.
Yeah. And all of a sudden he would come up and be like, I have another one. I have another one. I have another one. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. There were a lot.
Yeah, and a normal night, like a normal 4-hour, 5-hour investigation, 11 EVPs is a really good night.
That's a really lucky night.
Yeah,
It's not a
Exactly.
good night. It's a lucky
That's
night.
a
Oh,
rare
yeah.
night.
yeah.
You're lucky if you get one EVP
Absolutely.
in an investigation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let alone 11 in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
I
kidding.
hate you guys.
Are you going to play any of these for us?
I am going to, but Jamie's going to set them up first.
Okay. Well, Lisa
Like
knows just as
dominoes?
well as I do.
She already set up the first one.
All right,
Yes.
so I don't have the one where she sets up when she talks about the tree. I won't play that one real quick, but she did. But
I asked her name.
What about the
yes,
stock
you asked
one?
you asked her name. That came first. You wanted to know her name, and she actually responded.
What about the stop
the
one?
very first one that was on the Marco Polo where the little girl?
Oh, I don't have that. That was.
I bet you, Elisa could probably play it off of her phone, just in the microphone.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that's how loud it was.
Hold on. I think
It's like, I think I deleted it.
No, I thought I saved it.
Well,
Play another one.
So here's the cool thing: is I have another EVP where she says the same thing, and it's the same little girl voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll play that one here real quick, and you can hear it.
Yeah. Okay, I have this one.
Well, that's one that sounds like she says stuck to me.
It sounds stuck or stop. It's close.
Yeah.
Okay.
You trim your EVP
Okay.
so short.
That one I trimmed. I trimmed short on I trimmed some of these short on purpose because it was just easier at that point.
Okay, so here is this one.
It's just like a pulled muscle sort of situation or something, or just, move just right.
Like that's
That was-
playing off her phone
That's
into
playing
the
off her
microphone.
phone little speaker on
You
the bottom
guys,
of
Into
the
that
the
is
phone.
It's
microphone.
what we call a
crazy.
Class A EVP.
That is
it's
such
so clear.
a
If you
clear
didn't hear that, raise your hand. There's like 4 people that are listening to this out there raising their
Oh, and
hand.
you can, if you go back, you can hear it's the same voice
Yeah.
between the two different.
Yep.
Can you play it one more time?
100%.
Yeah, I can play it
Is
one more
there-
time.
Situation or something, or just, move just right.
Yeah. And then this is the one that off the digital recorder.
Yeah.
Same voice.
That's the
Same
same
voice.
voice.
Same voice.
Different
Conversations.
girl.
different conversations, same voice.
well, and
Yeah.
she goes on
and
this.
how far apart? Like
Those are hours
apart?
That's an hour apart.
That's
maybe.
about an hour apart.
Yeah,
One's on
see?
Marco Polo and one's off of our digital
Yeah.
recorder.
Yeah.
An hour later.
Yeah, and if you can hear it on mine, she goes, stop. And then on this one, it's like, stop.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
a little
So
bit different
she-
tone.
she changes her tone at the end, but it's the exact same voice. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, but Jamie did ask for her name.
Yeah, I told her I'd love to know her name. And I asked her this several times because I got this feeling that she wasn't telling me. So this was the final time I asked her name. I said, I'd love if you could tell me your name.
And she said, Satan.
No,
Just
not
kidding.
at all.
But I'd love for you to tell me your name.
Yeah, so that one was her response was quieter in this one.
it's quieter. You can
It's
hear
not a
it-
whisper, though.
No, but you can hear that it's a 2-syllable name.
Yep.
It's a ba-ba.
It sounds like Katie.
Katie.
It sounds like
Katie.
Katie.
Or
Yeah.
Stacy.
Katie
At
or
first I
Stacy.
thought it
Well,
might have
I
been
think
Stacy.
it's Katie. When you
Definitely
put
an E.
headphones on your
Yeah.
head
It did
and you
sound more
listen
like
to
that,
it,
yeah.
it
Yeah.
sounds like Katie.
You can definitely tell it's a 2-syllable name.
Absolutely.
But I'd love for you to tell me your name.
And it's that high pitched girl.
Yeah.
Yep, it's that same.
It's that same voice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For the third time.
Yep.
But that wasn't the
What if
only
it's
voice
Casey
that
and
came
we're
through.
making her sad?
But that wasn't the only voice we got through there, now, did we?
No.
No.
No. So at one point,
No.
I left the digital running on the coffee table in the living room, and I talked to the spirit or spirits as if they're really there physically in front of me and I could see them. And I said, I'm going to leave this running here. Feel free to say anything you want. I'm going to run to the restroom. And so I go into the restroom and I use the restroom. I wash my hands. And we ended up catching something while I was in there, which we believe is an older female.
That one was hard
That
to
was
hear.
really
very
quiet.
hard to hear.
That's
yeah, I
really
can't
quiet.
hear anything on
And that one was a whisper, though. It was but it sounds like a more mature female, for sure.
And I think that's where I got where it was hard for me to differentiate between
Yeah.
a younger female and an older female. Because I was
Absolutely.
like, at first I felt the older female, and then I think the younger female was just came in so strong at that time that it was like, oh wait, no, maybe
Right.
it's this. And remember, I'm not even there.
Oh, no. She
I'm
was
at
just
my own
through
house.
Marco Polo.
I'm
that
an
she
hour
was-
away.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
But it sounds like an older female saying, ma'am.
yeah, when you have headphones, you can hear it a lot.
I played
clearer.
again. Play it again, Josh.
Okay, I'll play it
so
one
they
more
can hear
time.
it.
It is really quiet, but
This one
it's
is
there.
very quiet. Yeah, see, I can't even hear it through that.
Yeah, it's hard.
I can hear it. It's just really quiet.
Yeah, so if you have headphones,
Turn them up really loud.
turn
Really
them
loud.
up loud and listen.
And
yeah.
be very careful because we're going to come
And
back
then
on and going to blow your ears out.
Turn it back down.
Yeah.
But for everybody, I will post these EVPs on our social media sites so you guys can hear them and put headphones on and get them individually too.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it's a little bit easier to pick them out.
But at least you'll know what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I want to touch on the male spirit that we got. And this was when
This one blows my mind.
this one, I'm baffled by this one.
Yeah.
But where was I? I wasn't actually doing an EVP at that point. I mean, I had the digital on the coffee table in the living room running.
You were in the kitchen.
And I think I was in the kitchen because I was talking back and forth on Marco Polo with Elisa.
Yeah.
But you and Josh is
You
still...
weren't you listening to my Marco Polo?
I think I was listening to Lisa's Marco Polo because you're going to hear her voice in there.
No, this one's
Isn't it?
No, this is a completely dead time. You were talking to Lisa on Marco Polo, but this is the time that it was
In between.
In between, it was quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Josh and Azra is downstairs playing on his VR headset. Josh is downstairs doing I don't know what,
just
but
staring at my computer screen.
but I have the
I know
door.
it's not as right because you know what? You know how much sound I've heard from that kid in all the year and a half that we've been.
Maybe 2 syllables.
I've heard maybe 2 syllables. He doesn't even grunt. You would never know. The guy is like a total ninja.
Yeah.
He is a quiet kid, so I know it wasn't him that you heard.
Oh, but he is not quiet on VR. When he's
Yeah,
playing on his
but-
VR headset,
He
is
was really
loud.
quiet on
He
New
was
Year's.
quiet on New
Yeah.
Year's. What is his loudness like the?
And that's it. Yeah.
No,
No,
I didn't.
It's like
actually,
the one girl
it's not
from
safe
Pitch
for.
Perfect.
It's not safe for family. Right,
No.
for some of what he says.
It's not family
But-
friendly.
No, it is not.
The thing is
I'm
when
just saying he's quiet, so I'm
Yeah.
sure it's not him.
no,
Yeah.
it's not him. Well, you can tell just by
It's not his voice.
it's
No.
not his voice. It's yeah. I don't know. I'm baffled by this one, but I love it.
Oh yeah.
Is there a way you can turn it up louder through the computer?
That's Max.
Okay.
Oh,
Because I know it's a better EVP than that, and
Yeah,
I
it
can't
is
hear
a-
it.
Try it again. That's
That's a little bit louder, yeah. Do it one more time.
Yeah, that's an older
So you
male.
can tell it's not him, but
No.
it's a higher voice than Josh's though.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's definitely an older male.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, I heard you downstairs.
Oh wait, I wonder if it was the guy that like lives in your vents.
Lord.
It's the man under the stairs.
He's the man that lives in the basement.
So when you listen to it with headphones, you can hear it very clear.
yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%. But
Yeah,
that
it
was
sounds
pretty
like
cool.
like a 28-ish, 29-ish type of age.
Mm,
That's what I'd throw it.
That's the impression I get, but I don't know.
But yeah, and when I post it on social media, I'll actually boost the amplification on a little bit so you can hear it a little bit better.
But we're not going to ask for your opinion because, you know.
We're going to turn off all commenting on those posts.
Yes, please do. Yeah, no comments on them.
Oh no, we don't. We'll be on our site. So
Only our sites, yeah.
so, but yeah. So what? I mean, there was other EVPs that we got throughout that,
Yeah.
and eventually we ended up having to take action though.
Well, there was one EVP that we come across that just didn't leave any of us with a very good feeling. And that EVP was what was that EVP, Josh?
Oh, that was a woman.
It was a
saying-
male. No, it was a male
Oh.
first saying I'm everywhere.
Yeah.
And then there was an older female again saying stay away.
Yeah.
Was it stay away or get away? I can't remember which.
I think it was stay away.
When we listened to that, it left me with a not so good feeling. We played it over Marco Polo for Elisa, and she agreed. It didn't leave her with a good feeling at all. So her recommendation is that these spirits want to be crossed. They're trying to get away from whatever it was. They were looking for help.
See, and we think the reason why they were saying stop was because Jamie's back had been hurting.
So whenever I mention my back hurting, that's when that little girl's like, stop.
Because we think that what?
We think there was a type 2 that was actually
Oh.
afflicting her in this avenue. So Type 2 being a ornery human spirit.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we did end up crossing over the 4.
With Elisa's help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We ended up crossing those over, but we still had this type 2 that was left in our house
Yes.
that had to be
Disposed of.
disposed of. Had to be pushed out of the house,
Like
right?
he's a piece of garbage.
Right.
He needed to be taken care of.
That's
Yes.
right.
So he actually got into he basically fled to our garage and was hiding out in our garage and waiting, for us to either just leave it alone or, or whatever.
Wait to come back in.
Yeah, wait to come back in. But we were obviously aware of his presence, and so we pushed him out. So in this process, right?
This is how you make really good friends with your neighbors.
This is. So, we open the garage door, right?
Well, and this is all with Elisa's instructions because
Yes.
Josh and I aren't really experienced in this area. We know a little bit about it, but not enough to feel comfortable that we're going to do the job right.
Right.
So we had Elisa kind of guiding us and telling us what we needed to do.
So essentially, what I did is I stood up in the, started at the door, put my arms out wide, right? And using my own energy to kind of use it as a sweeper, right? To push this energy out. So I walking out my garage door, arms wide,
Buck naked.
just as the day I was born, right? And of course, it just so happens to be our neighbor comes up and our neighbor comes home and it's, coming home from a fast food or whatever. So he sees me walking out, arms spread wide.
And then here comes Jamie up behind him.
Sprinkling salt and basil across the threshold of the garage door. And I turn as I'm doing this and I look at this guy and he's got one of those drink holders and like 4 drinks in it. And he's walking up the driveway on the side of his truck and he stops. And as I'm sprinkling the last of it, he looks at me, looks at Josh, looks down and starts walking into his garage.
At least he didn't trip and spill his food everywhere.
Oh man, that would have been
The
awful.
best.
That would have been the cherry on the cake. Oh,
So it ended funny. I
Yeah.
mean, it started off cool, right? And then it got a little hairy for
Yeah.
a minute.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
And
ended
then-
pretty funny.
Yeah, that ended on a good joke.
Yeah.
And honestly, I haven't seen my neighbor since.
And Jamie, what happened to your back
Yeah,
after?
how's your back?
Well, shortly after that whole thing, like within 20, 30 minutes, my back, I noticed, just absolutely quit hurting.
So
Like,
good.
because before it was so painful.
Sweet. I need
It
you
was
guys
just
to cleanse my
painful.
back.
Right.
I mean, you got some spirits.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I Marco Polo Lisa and I was just like, look, I'm like, this is weird. Maybe it's a coincidence. I don't know.
And you've had the back pain for,
I had it for about a week at that point.
yeah.
And I was like, my back pain's gone.
Yeah.
It's not
Crazy.
there.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
So interesting. Coincidence? Maybe.
Yeah, and that's how we ended the year without.
But you never
Yeah.
found out why they were even here, though, did you?
Lisa had a thought on that one, right? That they just really liked the energy in the house.
Well, I think, my personal opinion is they know who's sensitive and who isn't, and who's open to that idea and who is not.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And so my thought on it is that, that's what we do in this house, not that we go ghost hunting in this house, but, that's what we come here, we gather, we talk about ghost stuff here and, and so, and I think Jamie is sensitive. And so for them to notice that, I mean, I would come running if I needed help. You go to somebody who can help you and who has that desire to help you. And, you get a vibe off of people, and I don't think that goes away when you die. So my opinion is that they knew that Jamie would help, and Jamie was the one that was home at the time and available and ready to listen and hear and knew that she was their best shot.
So do you think they came to the space, or do you think they saw her out somewhere else and then followed her?
I think they saw her in her space. Because if they had followed her,
You were
they
in
would have
space?
I'm always
come
in space.
a long time ago.
oh yeah,
She I don't know when last time you went out and did anything.
She's a shut-in. She never leaves the house.
Oh.
Yeah, hermit. Just kidding.
I hardly ever leave the house. This is true.
So I think it would have happened a long time ago, but everything was fine. And then all of a sudden it was just boom, everything was happening all at once. So I think they had just come in and been like, let's get her attention.
Let's get her attention because, and through other channels such as Elisa and, you know, with some of Josh's help too.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
listening and picking out the EVPs. We got the job done.
Yep. It was such a cool thing.
We were able to help. And that leaves you with a really good feeling too.
Yeah.
And
It's such a good.
and all from a Marco Polo.
Who
All
No,
from a
no,
Marco
no.
Polo. Yeah.
So cool.
So, looking forward to 2022, right? We're only, a handful of days in.
8 so far.
What are you guys looking forward to investigation-wise? Where are you guys looking forward to going investigating? Now, we do have just a couple set up right now, but we are in the process of getting the rest of them solidified. So where are you guys looking forward to going? And I believe that's Jamie first.
Oh, me first. On ones we already have set or on
Just anywhere
Just
that you
anywhere I
want
want
to
to go.
Anywhere you want to go in the future.
You know, really, I'd love to go to the Stanley Hotel.
Is that
It's on my
Stanley with a
list.
C?
I would really love to go to Stanley Hotel. I've been wanting to go for quite a while, and for some reason, it's just kind of gnawing at me.
And we're not that far away. We're
Let's
10
do
we're
it
like,
this year.
I know.
We're like-
I want
We're
to.
like, what, 10
I'm
hours
in.
from SD State
Let's
Park?
do it. I think on
Yeah.
2 of our family vacations this year with you guys to investigate. Come on.
Right?
Right?
Adventure.
Exactly.
I left
out
my
there.
family to go on vacation.
Well, we're a family of 3. It's just easy just to bring her along with us.
I know.
So, but yeah, 2 of our 3 family vacations we took this year was with you guys to go ghost investigating.
See, that's perfect.
So yeah, let's do Stanley.
Right on.
It's on.
I want to do Stanley so bad. Ugh.
What about you, Terry?
Anywhere, honestly. I just want to get out and investigate. It's
Itching
been
to
a
go.
while. I'm really excited just to go anywhere.
Yeah, it's been since September, right?
I
mean,
haven't been out on
Mhm.
investigation since Montana.
That was like Labor Day weekend.
No, you were there after. Didn't we do the second?
Benson.
Was the second Benson after Montana?
second
That was the
Benson
last one.
Okay, maybe it was that one.
But
yeah.
it's been a minute.
Yeah, that's right. 'Cause there were so many people at Benson we couldn't set up the bear.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really looking forward to actually setting up the bear and letting it be when we go to Benson.
Yes.
Because when we go to Benson, it's going to be such a smaller group.
Mm-hmm.
We can set it up and tell people, leave it alone.
Right?
Right.
And we're not limiting people from their investigations or anything like that. So I'm excited to see what kind of response we can get.
And I think it'll be the first time that any of us have actually been able to investigate Benson as a solo group.
Yeah.
Yes. Quietly.
Because
Right?
we've always done it kind of in a public setting, right? We either on a public investigation or the potluck or anything like
well,
that.
our first time investigating Benson, there was only 6 of us there. So, but that was our very first investigation ever. We had no idea what we were doing or anything.
But we didn't have that
Rookies.
much happen
And
either.
we had a little bit happen, but we had no equipment. We didn't know what we were doing. So,
I still don't know what I'm doing.
Hey,
but I
you
mean,
fake it till you make it.
I just barely got the Boo Bear. I haven't even had the Boo Bear for a year, and we've gotten such good interaction out at Benson from Abigail on it
Yeah.
that I want to have something visual to show people. I mean, I got a little bit on my camera on my phone with it one time, but I really just want to get some really good hard evidence with that Boo Bear.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about you, Mike?
I'm feeling kind of the same thing with the REM pod. We bought the REM pod back in
Yeah, we've had
January, I think,
we've
of
had
last
that
year.
for about a year too.
And I've only had one solid experience with it where I was like, can you step away from it? Great. Now step forward. Now step away. And that was on the 4th floor of the catwalk at the prison
Mm-hmm.
in front of that one cell. Every other time it's kind of gone off once or twice, but it's hard to really identify that, yes, that was somebody, and yes, that those were intelligent, and so I really want to see more of that. As far as where, I don't know, man. I'm excited just to go anywhere. It's been too long. I'm hoping, and I don't know how it would happen, but Terry and I had talked about doing a trip down to Vegas for spring break and taking the daughter down because at the age of 16, you can now go to the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum of Horror and Mystery.
And we were there for Thanksgiving. We were 1 month away from her 16th birthday.
And we wanted to go, and we're like, she got
And
mad.
She got so mad at us even thinking about going without her.
So I think a trip down to Vegas would be a really fun place to go. I mean, I don't know. If you live in Vegas and you listen to the show and you know some good places where we can come investigate down there, reach out and let us know.
Yeah,
because I know there's at least 5 ghosts in the Las Vegas metropolitan area, and at least one of them is probably willing to, I don't know, do something. So it's be fun to. We've never done anything out of state other than the Idaho and the Montana.
Yeah.
And so I think it would be fun to
Just to go do the tour of the museum, I think it would be fun.
Even just touring the museum is something. Because even then, you're still going to be investigating. And you
Personally, yeah.
You can go back and investigate, like, if you want to pay the extra money.
No, you can pay the extra money and go back
I
at
don't know
night and
if she can go
investigate.
back
But I
for-
don't know the age requirement for that.
Wait,
But just the
they
tour.
let you investigate
Yeah.
that place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're only there. You're only there for maybe. I think it's only an hour. And
That's not an investigation. Come on.
yeah, they don't give you very long
It
in
only takes
there.
money, dude.
They don't give you a very long time in there. But you can go back at night and investigate. And they only allow a certain number of people on that one. I want to say it might be 6, maybe.
I think
maybe
it was
it's
12, and then it was like 6 on each half
Yeah,
of the
it's
building.
12, and they split you up into 2 groups of 6.
Yeah, that just takes a conversation of cash, right?
So
It
yeah,
does.
yeah.
That's, and that's how our first investigation at the prison actually happened. Because
Mm-hmm.
they're like, because I think I reached out to them and I was like, hey, can we do an investigation out there? And they're like, well, all of our investigation stuff is done for the year, but if you want to and you're willing to buy the 10 spots, we'll let you investigate. So I'm like,
That was that first year.
I'm like, okay, I'll buy the 10 spots, you know?
Yeah. So you can go back and investigate, but I think you had to be older to do that one. But just to go in and just do a standard tour, you have to be at least 16.
Right.
Honestly, I don't know if I'd want my daughter investigating that.
No,
the
I don't
tour
want her.
I might be okay
The
with.
tour, I can protect.
I'm
her
not
a
going to
little
bring her
more.
back to interact
Yeah.
with the spirits there, because I know that there's
There's some
from
dark
everything
stuff
I've heard.
there.
There's some pretty dark stuff there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm totally down for Stanley. You guys want to do Stanley?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I want
100%.
to go.
I'll drive.
All right, Elisa, you?
See, for me, I was like anywhere out of state. I want to go somewhere new, and I've always wanted to do Stanley too. So as soon as she said Stanley, I'm like, yes.
Jamie's a robot.
It took a while this time.
Yeah, it
I
did.
know. So for me, I really want to do something out of state, and I would love, ever since Ghost Hunters did their investigation at the Stanley Hotel, I'm like, I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go. That would be so cool.
I'd be willing to go back to Gooding and to go back to Montana too. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
The-
Go back.
Oh,
to
yeah.
those. But it'd always be fun to go do something new and
Yeah.
different.
I just want to. I mean, I love to travel.
Adventure.
Yes,
Adventure.
and to go to all these different places, right? Like I really want to do the tuberculosis hospital again, right? But to go somewhere new that I haven't been to, I would really love to go to the Stanley Hotel. I would
Somewhere you
love
haven't
to
been
do
to,
it.
or somewhere you haven't investigated.
both,
Both are
I
fun,
want to
right?
investigate Disneyland.
right? That would be fun.
That would be tough.
That would be fun.
Oh
but they
my
don't let you
gosh.
though.
Oh, I know they don't.
Just saying, like if you could, that would be
Yeah.
cool.
When you
That would be-
horrors have been covered up in that place.
That would be a cool place. And yeah, they would
How many
never let
spirits
you.
are drawn to that place?
Oh, so many. There'd be
It
so
was their
many
happy
of them.
place,
it's
right?
AKA,
Oh, you know how many
the happiest place on earth.
You know how many people
Quote,
try to
unquote.
spread ashes in there all the time?
Oh, yeah.
Well, even
Yeah.
just the tunnels underneath that the actors go through. I mean,
Can
my
you
gosh.
imagine?
Can you
Yeah.
imagine what's there?
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of energy there.
Hey, if you work at Disneyland and you listen to the show, send us your stories.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
What I would love if they said, "Hey, look, we'll give you one building in the entire place to investigate, and that's all you get
At Disney?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you get 2 hours, right? Firehouse.
100%. That's where Walt's apartment is.
That's
is
where
upstairs.
Walt's
There's so
apartment
much
is.
activity over there
Yeah.
Yeah?
in the firehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to go actually in the Haunted Mansion?
I
No.
thought
No, firehouse, because
I was thinking the
that
Haunted Mansion too.
that's
Yeah.
Walt's. That is Walt's place, right? That's where Walt's energy is.
But you
And
want to talk to Walt?
I would
You
love.
think
Oh,
he would
that would
actually
be
talk
cool.
to you? If
I would hope so.
I think he'd
If
be
not
giving you
there-
the bird. It's like, get out of my house.
I'd rather do Pirates or Small World.
Pirates, hands down, I would do that one.
Small World, as long as they're not playing the music.
They get a lot of activity in Small World. I have heard stories about stuff in Small
Oh,
World.
that's
that would
true.
be cool.
Just have the boat thing going on the whole time. You're sitting like floating through.
We
Just
should
turn
do
off
an
the
episode
music.
on
Yeah,
that.
just turn up. I mean, I love the music. Don't get me wrong.
I
but
don't.
but if you spent like 6 hours in there, you would go insane.
You go insane after one trip through.
Um, Yeah, not the holiday one. The holiday one was really good.
It is.
The holiday, they don't do the
Small World
They don't
holiday.
do the small world. They don't do the
They do
small
Christmas
world
songs.
It's
Yeah.
a time for Christmas, a time of cheer.
No, they don't do that.
Snow in
They
the
actually
air,
do. They actually do the Christmas songs.
and
But
Santa's spirit. I don't know.
for me, it's actually our next investigation. Is the one I'm looking most forward to. Which is in Bountiful, Utah.
Chuckarama.
Yeah, Chuckarama. Chuckarama. I'm gonna figure out how the meat's made. Ugh. But yeah, it's called the Anson Call House, and we got invited on a very last minute tour of the place before we ended up booking it, and we were in there for all of an hour, and stuff was being moved a lot.
You could hear it.
And this actually was almost one of my, most memorable moments. But we were upstairs in the second floor, and Elise and I were in what would be considered the master bedroom.
Scandal.
It's getting saucy.
Right?
I didn't hear this story before.
And Jamie and another gal were across the they were across the hall in front of and they were in front of the nursery.
Ooh, even gets even saucier.
And it sounds like someone threw a 2x4.
Like
Well,
they
no,
slid it
like
across
it slid it
the
across the
room.
floor.
Yeah.
Kind of like this,
Yeah.
Yeah, except loud.
except
Louder and faster.
wood
Yeah.
and not an empty aluminum can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super loud. And the gal that was with Jamie almost jumped into her lap.
No, she basically did.
She leaped, man.
Right? Well, so her back was in the doorway of the nursery. So her back was in, to the nursery room, and she was in the door frame. I was kind of out on the landing, and she was talking to me, and you hear what sounds like a large piece of wood just being chucked across that wood floor in that room, in that nursery. And it startled her. So she jumped on me forward. But as her body cleared the door frame, I saw something move across the floor.
But then what happens when you go walk in there?
There's nothing there.
There's nothing to.
Absolutely nothing.
I mean,
to
there
slide
are
across that
things
floor.
in there.
There's
hardly.
toys and
There's a
some-
rocker, like a small little
But there's
rocker and stuff. But
yeah,
there was
nothing
nothing
out of place.
Out of place that slid.
No.
But you heard that, like
Oh,
was
everybody
loud.
heard that.
so loud.
And at one point in time, we had an obvious in there too, and it came up with two words. It came up with table and well.
Which at the time it was like, what? Okay,
That
random.
random doesn't make any sense because the obvious would do that, right? The obvious will spit out words and phrases as the environment changes.
Goat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, whatever,
Bathtub.
But I went down and I talked with the guy that was there, giving us the kind of like the free tour type of thing, and I told him what the obvious came up with, and he's like, "Oh, that's really cool." I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Well, there's a well in the basement."
Mhm.
Which we weren't able
How
to
would
go
you
in the
know
basement.
that?
We wouldn't
Yeah.
have known that, right?
No, we didn't go down the basement.
And then I'm like, well, table seems really random. He's like, yeah. He's like, but on one of our investigations here, we were upstairs or we were in the living room area, and the table in the kitchen moved. It got picked up and dropped.
Oh wow.
And so it's like, well, those two things actually make sense.
yeah.
And so it's like, I can't wait.
But was it a
Yeah.
coincidence that the audio spit it out, or
Don't know, right?
Yeah, you just don't know.
don't know.
Which is kind of why I'm really looking forward to getting in there
Right.
and investigating. And the other cool thing is it's not a time limited investigation.
No,
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
we're
So-
allowed to stay all
Do you
night
like the whole night?
if we want.
We're till
They said
sun up.
as long as we want. Yep, till
And
the sun
we don't
comes
get
up.
to go.
I know. I'm bummed about that though because
Yeah, you'll have more fun without us.
no, I don't-
Whatever.
I don't think so.
Whatever.
But that place has got some crazy history. It has been on one of the TV shows, which that's cool. But so have a lot of places we've been.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be neat to get in there and get some time and get a chance to investigate it.
Absolutely. So, before we go though, I'd like to touch on Vegas real quick. The Para Unity that was in December
Yeah.
of last year.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all went to a Paracon. You got to talk about that a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, that was interesting. It was Jamie's first time ever in Las Vegas.
Yeah. I was
Did you
excited.
go see a strip show?
No.
No tassels and
No Chippendales. No. Yeah.
No Thunder from Down
What about
Under.
Elvis?
No Elvis.
Oh man, there's like 500 of those down there.
I've never seen an Elvis while I've been
What?
there.
you've never seen an Elvis? Oh man,
Never. I probably
Man.
it's probably because I've only ever gone for conferences and I don't go out at night usually. So
We need to go to Vegas together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we'll
need
give
to
you
take
guys
you
some
guys to
caffeine
Vegas.
so you can stay up past 8, and yeah, we'll take you out.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Let's
we
take
were.
them to Fremont Street on a Saturday night. You'll see everything.
Cool. I'm game.
I'm gonna go streaking.
No,
Don't do that. That's still illegal.
I don't have bail money.
But if you wear like a jock strap and chaps, you'll be okay.
You'll fit right in.
Sock and some duct tape. We're good.
Oh my
Blech.
goodness.
Yeah, but it was it was an interesting conference.
It was.
So tell us what it was.
So basically, it was para-unity. So you had a lot of the people from the ghost hunting shows that are on Travel Channel and such. You had Ghost Brothers. They were there. You had a couple of the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. You had Dustin Perry. You had Ghost Hunters.
All of them.
Amy Bruni, Adam Barry were there. John Zaffis was there. The guys from Ghost Stop were there.
Yes.
The guys from
Which
Taps
is-
were there. Jason Haas and
Uh-huh.
Steve
Haas.
Gonzalez.
Yeah, and Dave Tango.
I actually watched that
and-
show.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of the shows, but I do watch that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Brian Kano was there.
Yeah, Josh Gates was there.
There was another gal there that was on Ghost Hunters International that had her own booth that I didn't even know was there.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Ooh.
Destination Fear, the kids
Something
from.
that ends with her last name ends with Green,
Mm.
and I'm like, oh, who are you?
But anyways, the kids from Destination Fear were there.
Yeah,
I like those guys.
we never met them. We didn't go and
Their line was always long, loud. It sounds like they were always having a party. They had
Yeah.
a great time. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was. So what was interesting is you had two groups of people that were there, right?
Mhm.
You had the over 30s,
Yes,
and then you had the under 30s.
absolutely.
And all the under 30s were in the Destination Fear line.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and all the over 30s were in all the other lines.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So you could definitely tell the divide there.
Yeah. But yeah, we Nevada State Prison was there.
They were there. We talked to them for a while and kind of got some information on what we can do to rent
Wait,
that
the
place
whole
out.
state prison was there?
No. The people that rented out.
Oh, the people that rent out the old Nevada
Yeah.
State Prison.
The
So we did a
old
little
Nevada State Prison.
networking while we
Okay.
were there.
Oh, let's go do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we're
got
looking into
connection,
it.
dude.
I want to go do another prison.
Yeah.
Right?
We're
And-
looking into it.
And here's what's crazy.
That's in Carson City, right? Or is it closer to Reno?
Yeah, closer to Reno. So
Dude, we'll hook up with Paul. Paul will take us.
oh yeah. We know that.
Yeah.
Do it. But what's crazy is we talked to him about it. And there's like, what is it, 20 buildings there?
Yeah, something like that.
There's like
At
20.
the prison?
Yeah, there's like 26 standing buildings still at the prison.
Wow.
And they're like, and the investigations don't go long either. They end at like 10 o'clock at night.
We'll
Oh,
be like
yeah.
Destination Fear, and we'll all separate and sleep in a room. I'm just kidding.
No
But-
thanks.
And what's interesting
Got something going on that time.
Is-
There you go.
is they're like, we stop at 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, that's really short. He's like, yeah, but at 10 o'clock, it's lights out and everybody goes to bed. And so
It
so
just goes dead.
it goes dead. The whole
No
prison
pun
goes dead.
intended. Yeah.
See, and that's why I'm wondering if at Montana State Prison, if that's why it's so quiet when we go in there so late. So I'm thinking if we do Montana State Prison again, we need to go
Earlier.
Investigate earlier.
investigate in the cell blocks earlier.
Yeah.
Because they would be a little more active, right?
Right.
I
So,
don't know.
but
Just a thought, just to try.
Yeah.
It is a thought. I mean, we were getting the REM pod activity though. It was like 1 o'clock in
Yeah,
the
but
morning.
then again, when have criminals been the ones to follow the rules?
the ones that end up in prison for
In
life.
prison, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always a little different, but I mean, there was the LA. I think the LA County Police Museum was there.
Yeah, they were there too.
So like, it was some really neat interactions.
Yeah,
there.
we got to talk to some really nice people and kind of do a little bit of networking, which is always a good thing. That's how
So-
you learn about new locations and
Tell us about what happened to you in the hallway
Oh,
by the elevator.
not in the elevator, but on the
Well,
way to
by-
the elevator.
Yes.
So Josh and I went to like the M&M store and Hershey store and Coca-Cola and
I think we're coming back from dinner.
no, we weren't. This was before dinner.
Oh, come back from shopping.
So we were going to go drop our shopping off up in our room and we're heading through the casino area of the MGM Grand. And I hear a familiar voice. I kept walking because I'm like, I know that voice. And then before I could turn around, Josh is like, sweetheart, look. And I turn around, Josh is shaking hands with Jason Hawes. And then Jason Hawes leans over and goes, hey, how you doing? And shakes
How
my hand,
cool.
which was pretty awesome. He was just hanging out with the people.
That's
Just,
so
Well,
cool.
you know,
'cause
mingling.
He's a plumber.
he was awesome.
He's a rotor.
Yeah.
Rotor-rooter. I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's normal.
He's just down to earth, you know, nice guy. So we drop our stuff off. We go out to eat. And as we're coming back through again for the night, we see him again. And he's
That's
still
cool.
just hanging out with everybody, which was
That's so
completely
cool.
amazing. It
But what
was,
was
cool.
But what was cool though is he actually acknowledged us walking by.
Yeah. yeah.
He's like, oh, hey, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He remembered you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and he remembered you guys when you went back through their line, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
When we got his autograph.
you guys are
and
the
stuff.
guys that accosted me in the casino. Jeez.
But
Stock much?
But we did find out one awful and heinous fact about the Para-Unity Conference in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And one that is a big no-no, and one reason why, if that same individual has it again, we'll not go back.
Yeah.
And the fact is that they didn't pay any of the talent.
Which is really sad.
None of
It's
them got
it's
paid.
awful.
That's
Awful.
not even their hotel room, right?
Nothing.
Nothing.
They were told they'd be paid.
They were
Absolutely.
told
Everything
they were
was
gonna be paid.
supposedly going to be comped, and then they'd be
Yeah.
like an appearance fee, right?
Right.
So it'll be interesting if they actually do one next year or not. And if they do one next year, how many they actually get to come back.
Right. Because
Even
they're not
just
going to get
the-
the major people for
Well,
sure.
No.
even if you had just somebody else doing it, are they the name's kind of tainted,
Maybe
right?
this
Well-
is why Zach wasn't there.
No, he had a schedule
Possible.
conflict.
He was busy across town
Yeah.
But the
watching
thing,
TV.
the thing is I think if another agency or whatever puts on like a paranormal conference, I think if they pay the talent up front, I don't think it's an issue. I think they'd come back. But I think if it's one of those things like it was this last time where, oh, you'll get paid after the fact and then never get paid, it's just too much of a risk.
Right.
You know,
That would be in the
they-
contract for sure for me.
Yeah,
Front.
100%. 100%.
Here's the thing, though, and this is the part that all of our listeners just to understand is that the Para-Unity Conference in Las Vegas is not the same Para-Unity Conference that's in Minnesota or in
New
New Jersey
Jersey.
or any of those things.
No, it's not.
I made the mistake of actually saying that it was part of the they were together, and New Jersey Para-Unity was very, very quick to inform me that they are not associated to the Las Vegas
Which
one.
I'm glad that they did that though,
Yeah.
because that educated us and let us know, and then in turn we can, correct ourselves.
Exactly. So, and I've been looking at that date's already set for the Para-Unity Conference in New Jersey, and I just realized that it's so blasted expensive to get to New Jersey.
It is.
New
We
Jersey's
were
awful. You
But
don't
why
wanna
would you want to go there? It's not worth it.
It's
Only-
not worth it.
Pick any other.
I'm sorry. New Jersey
Para-Unity.
is the armpit of America.
No,
I've
it's
been there plenty of
it's the
times. You
crotch.
don't want to go.
No, that's Alabama because that's right next to the Florida.
Oh my
I've,
goodness.
I've been told that New Orleans is the crotch of America.
Hey, that's
Oh,
where
my.
Alan was born.
Oh, geez, we've been going on for a
maybe
while.
we should go to Connecticut though. Go see John's little museum he's got, and then the Warren Museum.
I would love
That's
to go
where
to the War
I served
Museum.
my mission. Actually, a stone's throw, like 10 miles. I lived from the Warrens.
Oh, cool.
Didn't even know.
And they
That's
have
crazy.
The Warren Museum has let people investigate.
Oh,
Yes.
let's do it.
And obviously the only thing they don't let you do is touch Annabelle's cage.
I don't want to touch
Oh,
it.
that's a no anyways. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to.
I don't want to touch anything.
I've
I
learned my
wouldn't-
lesson of touching haunted objects. I won't do it again.
No touchy.
but like the chance to like try to investigate Annabelle would be a blast.
It would be.
That would
It
be so cool.
But as for Vegas, would I ever go back? I don't know. not for
What?
not for a Para-Unity conference. I don't know that I would. See, Josh and I had tickets for Friday and Saturday. Friday, it wasn't super busy. The lines weren't super long, so it was easy to go and get the autographs and the pictures with everybody. Unfortunately, we missed all the like lectures from Jason Hawes and stuff. Saturday was really probably the main event day, if you think about it. You know, Saturday,
Yeah.
Vegas. I'm sure that was a busy day. Unfortunately, we didn't get to stay there. But some of the favorite people that I met there, I mean, I love meeting all of them,
Yeah.
but the Ghost Brothers were
They
just
seem
so
to be so fun.
so fun. They were so fun. It was just
If I could investigate with anybody, it would first be Ghost Hunters, I think.
absolutely, yeah.
And then it would be the
Ghost Brothers.
Ghost Brothers.
Yeah.
I was like, Ghost Hunters? Okay, now what's the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Brothers. They
Yeah.
would be so cool.
And we also met some lovely ladies there that work for Cursed
Yeah. Cursed.
is what they're called. Starts with a K. Or no,
C.
C.
See,
See.
They're right out of Salt Lake, we found out.
Yeah. They are a
Makeup.
makeup. They're
Vegan.
vegan. Vegan and no animal cruelty.
Yes. But we ended up buying, I bought some lip glosses and a lipstick from them.
They going to
Yep.
sponsor the show now?
No, but
You're getting them free
I would like,
advertising, man. They better send
I
some.
would like to have them on though.
Send a check.
They were such nice ladies. They were so nice. Yeah, we talked to them for a little while.
Yeah.
so all in all, it sounds like it was cool to meet everybody there, though.
It was a good time. And
It was a good
enjoyable.
time. It would have been nice to see how Saturday played out,
Right.
but as you can imagine, Saturday being the main event, I think it would have been just overwhelming.
Yeah, but you went somewhere better anyways.
You
Right?
came back to go on a bigger adventure.
Disney.
Yeah. We came back a day early to go to Disney. So,
Yes.
but yeah, paranormal conferences, I mean, they're not, I mean, obviously no two are alike. And so everyone's going to be a little different. But if you haven't been to one, I honestly recommend going and checking it out. You get to kind of meet some of the local paranormal people, in your area. And then the other, obviously a lot of times you get to meet at least one or two of the more, let's call it celebrity names of people. But everyone I've ever really met, aside from maybe a couple people, have been pretty down to earth.
Oh yeah. Super nice.
So, but we've been bugging your ear for a while, and
Feels good to be back though.
doesn't it?
It does.
And we're all back, which is super
Yes,
nice.
it's been so long for me.
Starting the year off right.
I'm not all back. I'm a little front. Mostly
Little
side
front,
to side.
little side. Little up, little down.
Depends on your perspective. Either way. We appreciate you tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed listening. You can check us out on our social media sites. We are on Instagram at
Cold spot _paranormal _research. Come check us out.
check us out there. Terry's the one in charge of that. So if you don't see enough posts on there,
Get mad at me.
get mad at her. Say, hey, what the heck? I keep checking. You're not posting. Get on her.
I'm going to go on Instagram, and harass her.
Do it.
Perfect.
You can also find us on Facebook. Josh, where are we on Facebook?
We're at the Paranormal Peeps podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research.
And there, nothing ever gets posted. Like, ever.
When's the last time you looked?
Nothing's been posted since we've been sitting at this table.
That
that
is
part's
true.
true, but shortly after, there will be.
No. Jamie posts plenty on there, so she keeps up on that. So if you like the show, tell your friends. If you don't like it, tell your friends. Tell them to give it a listen and see how horrible we are.
If there's any topics you'd like us to cover this year, please let us know.
Yes.
Yeah, reach out.
We've
sure.
we've put up the question on the Paranormal Peeps podcast on Facebook. Go ahead and just put your responses in there. We'll definitely get them.
I can put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
Put them on
I'll ask
Instagram. And we actually put it on Twitter too. So we are in the Twitter sphere this year.
Oh, boy.
I know.
Where are we on Twitter?
CPR Paranormal.
CPR Paranormal. Okay.
Check it out.
Well,
Check us out.
that's a wrap. I hope you've had a good time. Tune
Happy
in
New Year.
a couple weeks, and let's do this again.
Yeah. And stay
See you
ghosty.
later.
Stay ghosty, my peeps. Thank you for listening to the Paranormal Peeps podcast. You can find us on social media at Twitter at CPR Paranormal, on Facebook at Paranormal Peeps Podcast and Cold Spot Paranormal Research. And you can find us on Instagram at coldspot_paranormal_research.